everybody. This is Fred Quinones from qtheexperts at eXp Realty. Did you know about the buying process? I'd like to take you on a little journey through this video to kind of help you understand what you need to know about buying a home from beginning to end. So the first steps that you need to do is to start off with someone like myself or Nicole, who are realtors. What we'll do is we'll have an in-depth conversation, whether it be on phone, Zoom, in person, and kind of understand what your needs, what your desires, what your wishes are. We'll understand what type of location you're looking to purchase, because the one thing that you can't change is location. You can change a house, you can change the schematics, the trees, you can move, you can take down and all of that. But the land and location is something that is very important for us to understand. You know, you might have a growing family. You might have a change in a profession. You might be moving up, right? Moving on up. So, we want to understand these things. What size, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what square footage? Do you want a pool? Is a garage important? All of these different things we start to understand just to get a feeling of what you're looking for when you envision the home that you want to purchase, right? After we've gathered all that information and kind of have a good understanding and build a rapport, another thing that you as the client should understand is, does this realtor make a good fit with me? Not only do you want a realtor who is professional, is qualified and can answer all the questions that you need and be up to par with all of your expectations, but secondly, you want to make sure that they're a good fit. You want to make sure that you personally feel comfortable and you trust the person that you're speaking to and dealing with, because it's such an important decision to purchase a home or to sell a home. Sometimes it is the most important decision that you can make financially in your life. So after you've vetted out your realtor, you've asked the questions that you need and you've picked one, the next step in the process, and this is the second most important one, is if you're not buying a home in cash, is talking to a lender. We recommend generally for you to talk to 2 to 3 lenders. We generally recommend a few preferred lenders that we work with all the time, so that you know that we've battle tested some of these lenders. We know that they're going to answer the phone when the deal's important. They're going to be responsive. They're going to pick up the phone. They work on the weekends, and they can close in an appropriate time period. Generally in this time frame, it's about 30 days from, effective date on the contract. Sorry, I got a little phone issue here. But anyway, we continue on. So regardless of that, on top of that, you want to make sure that these lenders can compete for your business to give you the best interest rates and the best programs possible, because not all lenders offer the same qualified programs. Not every lender has the best offerings in interest rates. Not every lender is equal, just like not every realtor is equal. So for you, it's important, because in this process, you'll go through a pre-qualification stage. And the best thing for you to do to have a strong offer when you're placing offers against other competing people out there purchasing a home is to get pre-approved. And when you get pre-approved, what you need to do is provide more information than what is just general common information, like your social security number, where you work, and stuff like that. You'll have to provide financials if needed, W-2s from your work, paycheck stubs, bank statements, if you're being gifted anything, letters and stuff to qualify yourself, so that the lender can provide a pre-approval letter. And that pre-approval letter pretty much states that they can feel confident that you can purchase the home. And then what it does is it gives you the dollar amount of what type of home you can afford. Because us as realtors, we can't really help you move forward if we don't know what you can really afford to purchase. And it really does us no service for you, the client, to be showing you homes that you might not be able to afford, or you might be able to afford more and are looking at homes that are not necessarily in the realm of what you're looking for, right? So once you get that information and you vetted out a couple of lenders, and now we know what price that you can afford. Now we can start to do the work. Now you, the client, and us, the realtors, we can go out, set an MLS search out for you that caters to the needs that we discussed in our first appointment. And then we can now go and find the home. So you, as the client, have some work to do. We generally set you up with an automatic campaign that will send homes in your criteria to you. We ask that you also sometimes look in other means like other websites, because sometimes there might be a house that doesn't pop up in the search, and actively look and like the homes that you like. And when you do that, we have communication amongst each other, and we, as your realtors, attack. We set up the appointments. We speak to the listing agents. We get the pulse of what's going on that particular home, what's going on with other, potential clients who might be interested in the home, to position ourselves with you, the client, for success when we get ready for the next step, which is once you find that home that you love, you walk in, you're like, this is it. This is the house I'm looking for. We get ready to put the offer. So us as the realtors, we've already kind of got the climate of what's going on with other offers, other, showings. If there's any concerns with the home already that we need to vet out to help us better understand what dollar amount is necessary for you to be able to be successful. We'll offer our advice, but ultimately, as the client, will make the decision on what you feel is best to purchase the home and what you feel comfortable with. Once we do that, we'll present an offer to the listing agent, which is the agent who is working for the seller to sell the home. And we, as the buying agent, will be representing you, the client, and have your best interests in mind throughout the whole transaction. So you don't need to talk to, or you would not communicate with the listing agent in this situation. You would have us to represent you. So we put the offer through, and they accept the offer, or there's some negotiations. Maybe they want to meet some different terms, maybe a shorter inspection period, a shorter closing date. Maybe they want you to lift the price up a little bit because it was below listing price and they feel like their house is worth a little more. And once we're done with all those negotiations and everybody's met in the middle, you're under contract. And now that you're under contract, that doesn't mean everything's done. There's a lot of other things that need to occur at this point. You have to give your earnest money deposit. So in the contract, you have told, and we've had this conversation on what you feel comfortable to put money towards the deal, so that you're saying that you are committing to purchasing the house. Now that earnest money deposit is at risk throughout the contract. And if there's ever anything that goes, wrong, or you're not feeling comfortable in certain points, you might be able to get that earnest money deposit, but that's kind of your commitment saying that you want to purchase the house for a certain price. And that's your kind of commitment to it. So there's, in general contracts here, you'll give that earnest deposit generally within 3 business days after everybody has signed that contract. And then from there, you have an inspection period, which you can waive if you choose. But if you don't, which most people don't waive, you have a certain time period. And generally in Florida, it's about 10 days for you to get that done. You get a home inspection done for the home inspector to look at the house, to see what's going on, to see if there's anything that's not up to code, any things that are not operating, any things that are not appropriate. And when that's done, we would review with the home inspector, with you, the client, and go over the things. And then we would, as a team, negotiate what we feel we want the seller to repair in the transaction. The seller could decide to say, no, I'm not doing anything. But if there's certain things like 4-point items, which is generally your electricity, your plumbing, your roof, and your AC. If any of those things are not up to code or not working properly, a person who's trying to purchase a home will not get home insurance in most cases. So there's certain things that need to be fixed if the seller wants to sell the house. But if not, and they're minor little things like there's a nick on the wall, or doors not closing fully, or things like that, those are things that are negotiable. And sometimes are they worth, not bending a bit to get the home that you want. And that's where we'll talk through those things with you. And once you and the seller have come to an agreement on what inspectionable items will get fixed, the seller then has to fix those things before you get to close. So with that being said, once you pass the inspection period, now your earnest money deposit is now being held. Now it's like you've passed the inspection period, you're committing to move forward, and really the only thing, unless if you're financing, the way that you could get your earnest money deposit back in many instances if like the house does not appraise. So now what's going to happen is there's going to be an appraisal. And in that appraisal, if you're financing the home, the bank needs to put a value to the house. And if the value is below what you're offering, there needs to be some continued negotiation on whether your sale price that you offered, let's just say for argument's sake, the house is going for $250 and you place an offer for $260. If the house appraises at $250 by the bank standards, you guys have to negotiate. Either the seller brings the offer down to $250 so that you can get the financing you need, or you would have to negotiate whether you're going to come with additional cash to pay the difference of the $250 to $260, the $10,000, or you guys negotiate somewhere in the middle. But once you guys have done that and you've come to that agreement, now you're moving towards, your closing date, right? There's going to be very important things that you need to do with your lender if you're financing, which is making sure that you get everything that you need to underwriting. As soon as they request something, we always tell people, get it to them, right? And we always joke around and say, no buying Ferraris. There's no buying Ferraris in the middle of buying a house. Don't buy anything that you wouldn't normally, other than sustaining your life by eating food and keeping the lights on and stuff like that, but don't be buying new washers, dryers, airplanes, cars, jets, none of that, right? Until we're done. So we're moving along. And once everything's settled and underwriting has finished all of its work, you eventually will be getting the wonderful news, which is saying that you're clear to close. And when you're clear to close, that means that the bank says that everything is clear for you to move forward and proceed. And us as the realtors will sit with you, the client, talk a few things over, make sure that the seller hasn't completed all the inspectable items, and we will do a final walkthrough of the house. That final walkthrough will inspect the house ourselves personally, you the client and us the realtor, make sure things work, make sure everything's exactly as we expected when we saw the house originally, and also with the inspectable items. And we'll sign a document saying that we can proceed forward. The date of closing will be scheduled. You'll go there, you'll get arthritis because you're going to be signing 500 pages. Not really, but it feels like it. And then when you're done, the keys will be yours. So that, in a nutshell, with a little bit of detail, is the closing process for people. If you have any questions that in regards to purchasing a home, or there's anything that I brought up that you weren't quite sure of, like, oh, I wish you would go back over that, don't hesitate to give me, Fred Quinones, or Nicole Quinones a call. We're more than honored to be able to serve you by answering any questions that you have, and we are more than helpful throughout the entire process with all of our clients. So we hope that this information was useful. We hope it's helpful. We hope it gives you the courage to step forward in the buying process, and we look forward to helping you and your family in the future. So have a great day. Bye.